The modern version of strength training is arguably the biggest addition to endurance sports. We know it improves economy and resilience, which is why I schedule it for all of my athletes. But there is a hidden cost. As you get stronger, your physiology changes, your muscle density changes, and if you don't update your endurance training to match these changes, you might actually be reducing your efficiency. Now, does the increased muscle mass require more oxygen? Does it create more lactate? And most importantly, do you need to stop doing so much zone 2 and start doing something else? Here is exactly what's happening when you mix strength with endurance. I'm Chris from Efficient Endurance, a coach for swimmers, runners, and cyclists. If you want to see more of what I do, you can check out my coaching website in the description of this video. But first, let's be honest about what this actually feels like. We've all been there. It's a Tuesday morning, you've hit a heavy leg session yesterday because strength is good, right? You lace up your shoes, you head out the door for a recovery run, and suddenly your legs feel like they're made of jelly. You're doing the classic penguin waddle. You look at your watch and you're running 30 seconds per kilometer slower, but your heart rate is sky high. You think, I'm suffering more, I'm moving slower, surely this is just making me worse. Feels like you have to pick a lane. Are you a gym bro or an endurance athlete? Because right now, waddling down the street with DOMs, you feel like neither. I know I'd rather just avoid the gym if I could. But I want to reassure you, this feeling isn't you losing fitness, and it's not just fatigue. It's more of a physiological mismatch. You've made massive gains in the gym, but those gains need to be adapted to what you really need them for. There is good news though. Despite how heavy your legs feel, the added weight isn't bad weight. There is a myth that building muscle makes you guzzle oxygen quickly, that you need more just to move that new muscle bulk around, whereas the science actually says the opposite. When you lift heavy, you convert your malleable Type IIx fibers into powerful, fast Type IIa fibers. Now, Type IIa fibers are the hybrid engine of your muscles. They are powerful enough to sprint up a hill or surge past your mate in the sprint finish, but unlike the Type IIb fibers, they can actually use oxygen. This gives you what is called a strength reserve. If you can produce more force with each step without maxing out, you become more economical, not less. So, if you have this fancy new hybrid engine, why does it feel like you're running with the handbrake on? The problem isn't the muscle. The problem is the plumbing around it. Simply, when you train strength, your muscles get bigger. This is called hypertrophy. But the infrastructure around those bigger muscles remains the same. In this sense, the capillary network. Bigger muscles on the same capillary network of vessels is a surefire way to build up fatigue quicker. Now, this is actually termed capillary dilution. The distance oxygen has to travel from your blood to your mitochondria has increased. So, even though you are stronger, your muscles are effectively suffocating during your run. That heavy feeling, it's not just soreness, that is local hypoxia. Your bigger muscles are screaming for air that can't reach them fast enough. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chris, you always tell us to do zone 2. Zone 2 builds capillaries. And yeah, for the general population, zone 2 is king, well, to an extent. But here's the catch. When you're trotting along in zone 2, your body is smart, but it's also lazy. It only recruits your type 1 slow twitch fibers. It does not recruit those big new powerful type 2a fibers you fought with a barbell for. Your body isn't going to improve a muscle fiber that you don't actually use. If you're a hybrid athlete, you lift and you run zone 2, it's not enough to upgrade your muscles fully. You need to force blood through those high threshold fibers. You need high intensity interval training. And we aren't talking about all out sprinting. We're talking about aerobic 4-minute intervals at 90 to 95% of your max heart rate. This will be threshold and slightly above. Why this intensity? Because at 90% effort, you have to switch on those type 2a fibers. You force them into working aerobically. This releases a signal to your body that it needs to create a better network around them. You only need to do this once a week, but without it, your strength gains are disconnected from your endurance system. Now, there's one more massive reason your legs feel like lead, and nobody talks about it enough. It's stagnant nutrition. When you combine heavy lifting with high intensity cardio, your body becomes super carb hungry. You'll be burning through fuel faster than you realize. Most endurance athletes are used to fueling for efficiency, balancing calorie intake with training, and only being heavy on carbs in the lead up to a race. But when you lift heavy, you aren't just an endurance athlete anymore. You're a hybrid that needs to pay attention to your carb needs. Runners, you probably felt Runga, that bottomless pit feeling where you eat dinner and 20 minutes later you are staring into the fridge looking for snacks. Here's the trap. You start lifting to get leaner or stronger, so you keep your calories the same, but muscle is expensive. It costs energy just to exist. And those high intensity intervals I just told you to do, they chew through carb stores too. If you don't increase your intake, specifically these carbohydrates, you end up with chronically depleted glycogen stores. That heavy leg feeling, half the time it's not muscle damage, it's an empty fuel tank. You have to eat to support it. Don't be afraid of an extra scoop of rice. And one final piece of advice before you implement this, I see this on Reddit threads all the time. People trying to be heroes and running immediately after leg day. Just give yourself a break. If you do your high intensity session right after heavy squats, the signal to build muscle and the signal to build endurance essentially cancel each other out. You smash yourself to the point of fatigue, but your body gets all confused and doesn't know how to adapt. This is the interference effect. Keep your strength and your endurance sessions at least 6 to 9 hours apart. And ideally, do your heavy lifts on one day and your hard intervals on a separate day. Your legs might still feel a bit heavy, but at least your body won't be fighting a war with itself. So, does lifting weights make you slow? Only if you don't expand the plumbing and you starve the engine. If you lift heavy to build power, use high intensity aerobic intervals to build the infrastructure and eat enough to keep those gains coming. You aren't just an endurance athlete who lifts, you are turning into a hybrid. You get the strength, you get the speed, and eventually you might even lose the penguin waddle. If you want to know exactly how to test your heart rate zones so you're hitting that 95% intensity correctly, check out this video here. And if you want help building a program that balances the squat rack and the track, check out the coaching links in the description. Go out, be efficient.